Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Waste Management.
From Conti Forum in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, this is the ACC on ESPN. Your Sunday night matchup, Notre Dame versus Boston College, all part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. In the ACC standings, Boston College and Notre Dame not where they wanted to be in mid-February. The Irish are just 4-8. BC has only 2 ACC wins.
The center is his senior.
Fresh from game day, Jay Williams with Allison Williams. I'm Carter Blackburn. All right, Jay, it's Notre Dame and BC. It's always going to be a rivalry game because these two Catholic institutions, now they're back together in the ACC. No question it's been a disappointing year so far for these two.
It has been, but you know what? Today's a new day, and this is a new basketball game. For Notre Dame, they have to get their first road win in the conference. And then for Boston College, people have been questioning their toughness. A great opportunity for them to come back, considering their only 2 wins are against Virginia Tech, to prove their toughness on their own home court tonight in Chestnut Hill.
So the question for Notre Dame, how do they get that road win? Which leads us right into tonight's one-on-one.
Well, you saw when they played against Duke, when they were at home, they were able to have a big-time performance from their big 3. Yes, I'm saying big 3 in Boston, but talking about Notre Dame. Garrett Sherman, Eric Atkins, and Pat Connaughton that game against Duke combined for 49 points. And then for Boston College, Olivier Hanlon, the first matchup, he missed the front end of a 1-and-1 to ice out that game. Him and Ryan Anderson both need to step up big time here to defend their home court.
So that means they'll be playing for Brooklyn next. Notre Dame, Boston College. Starting 5 for the Fighting Irish features 2 Massachusetts natives. Pat Connaughton and Zach August expect hundreds in the stands tonight to represent those two, along with Atkins, Vastoria, and Garrick Sherman. And for the Boston College Eagles, Olivier Hanlon leads the way. Joe Rahan, Eddie Odio, Ryan Anderson, and the Notre Dame transfer, Alex Dragovich, who played his first 2 years for the Irish. So lots of ties between Boston College and Notre Dame. They were together in the Big East, 11 meetings while they were conference foes in the Big East, and that favored Notre Dame 6-5 in those meetings in the Big East. So 12-10 all time. In the last meeting, you have to go back just to February 1st, 15 days ago, in overtime in South Bend, Indiana, 76-73 Notre Dame win over Boston College. A trend of heartbreaking games for BC, including Thursday night at Georgia Tech when they lost another tough one. 6 games Boston College has lost by 3 points or less this year. Similar story for Notre Dame, especially on the road. They have been close but unable to extend it. A chance for us to check with Allison Williams.
Well, Carter, Jay, you guys mentioned Notre Dame looking for their first road win of the season, 0-6 away from South Bend, and it's something Coach Mike Bray is talking about with his team. They're not shy about addressing it. He talked to them before the game and said, look, we need to get over that hump. Let's use this as another opportunity to try and get that first road win. And they'll have a few more opportunities this week, but it is a tough schedule travel-wise. They're here tonight. They'll go back to Notre Dame, then to Miami on Wednesday, back home, and to Virginia on Saturday, traveling over 5,800 miles this week. So if the Notre Dame Fighting Irish could pick up their first road win, those travels will be much more pleasant.
Mike Bray, the 3-time Big East Coach of the Year, now coaching in the ACC with Notre Dame. He's in his 14th season overall coaching the Fighting Irish. Says there's always an energy around Notre Dame and Boston College, no matter the circumstances.
Well, there is when you have 3 veterans on your basketball team, and you talk about Pat Connaughton and Garrett Sherman, and then a guy like Eric Atkins who needs to step up as well. And, you know, one of the key things that everybody out there should know, this is their second game without Demetrius Jackson, who's been held out by Mike Bray for academic reasons. So that gives him another offensive guy that can create shots not only for himself, but for other players on the team.
Jackson, the freshman guard for Notre Dame, is a McDonald's All-American. He will be back with the team tomorrow. Mike Bray told us that earlier today. Steve Donahue, in his 4th season coaching the BC Eagles, he's been preaching to his team, we're a good basketball team. We've taken a lot of body blows. We've taken so many tough losses, but he says prepare for mid-February to mid-March to be one of the more rewarding parts of your basketball career. He still believes very much in his basketball team. Zach August, the sophomore from Marlborough, Mass. coming off his first career double-double Tuesday versus Clemson, and a double overtime win for Notre Dame.
Also had 10 points against North Carolina, and that'd be a very positive sign for August, considering he went against the trees in that ball game. Bryce Johnson, James Michael McAdoo, Kennedy Meeks, and Joel James. North Carolina playing a lot better basketball as of late as well.
Tar Heels have now won 6 straight. Here's Olivier Hanlon to the baseline for Anderson. Ryan Anderson for the first 2 for the Eagles.
Olivier Hanlon, one of the best guards in the nation at probing the floor. If you do not dictate which side you want him to stay on defensively, one of the best at dancing with the basketball, and let alone when he's involved in a screen and roll. So dangerous at making reads off that screen.
Connaughton off the curl, count the bucket, and a foul. Pat Connaughton, the junior from Arlington, Mass., who is the Mass Prep Player of the Year at St. John's Prep.
Will McGarity has to flash right there. Pat Connaughton came off that curl and decided, instead of fading, to curl. When he curls, the guard is attached to his hip behind him. McGarity has to flash and contest that shot without fouling.
So Connaughton puts Notre Dame up 5-2. He said he expected over 500 in attendance tonight. And the first ACC trip for Notre Dame to Boston College. It's been a decade since Notre Dame has been at Conti Forum. Into the post, August is going to be called for a reach. August, who was a teammate of Olivier Hanlon's at New Hampton School in New Hampshire. We mentioned there's a lot of ties between these two teams. Anderson on the repost. Backing in on August. Baseline. Anderson has 4 straight.
I like the fact that Ryan Anderson took his time. He was poised. He looked to see if the double team was coming. Once he realized it wasn't coming, he had that hook shot over that shoulder. Really smooth shot by Ryan Anderson.
Sherman turns it over. Rayhan pushes to Hanlon. A BC team that will shoot the 3. They average 8 made 3s a game. Tap out rebound for Atkins. Eric Atkins to Connaughton. Gathers and somehow finishes.
That last shot by James Rayhan. You know, when you come into the middle, you have to stay on bounce. I understand a lot of players want to shoot fadeaway shots, but for Rayhan, he needs to actually stay on balance and go straight up and straight down for Joe Rayhan.
Hanlon knocks down the triple. First made 3 of the game for BC. Olivier Hanlon's first points. Connaughton behind the screen. Hot start for Connaughton, playing in front of the home crowd. He has 7 of the first 9 for Notre Dame. This is coming off a 3 for 10 shooting performance too against Clemson. So a trip back to Massachusetts doing Connaughton well.
You know what the best shooters don't have? A conscience, my friend.
Are you in that category?
100%. You think every shot's going to go in. It's not going to stop you from shooting more.
August on the break. Misses the chippy. Rayhan brings it back. Outlet and a nice finish from Garland Owens, the freshman from Maryland.
Good job by Rayhan right there to slow his pace just a tad to allow his offensive player to get back involved in the play in the break. Vastoria
starting to knock down shots for Notre Dame, but he misses that one. McGarity the long rebound. Hanlon into the paint to Anderson. McGarity fights for another rebound. Garland Owens on the wing. Hanlon spins it in.
Big time move. Big time move. Vastoria does not have the lateral quickness to stay with Olivier Hanlon.
Olivier Hanlon off a 21-point performance Thursday versus Georgia Tech, but not enough as the Yellow Jackets won a game that was delayed a day in Atlanta. Rayhan strips it away from Sherman. Anderson at the high post. Back to Rayhan. Joe Rayhan finds Garland Owens, knocks down the three, and Boston College has a 5-point lead.
A lot of guards, when they get into the paint, they decide to pick their dribble up and put the ball over the head and make a pass. Good decision by Rayhan not to pick his dribble up, continue to probe. The defense collapsed. Owens was wide open in the corner for a knockdown tray.
Just the 12th made three of the year for Garland Owens. Atkins takes a bump, play on.
Big time show by McGarity right there. That's how you want your big to hedge on that screen.
August fading away, looked like Anderson got a piece. So Hanlon and the Eagles in transition. It's a 7-0 run by BC, but Hanlon can't extend it. Atkins pushing. Connaughton trailing all the way to the rim. Nobody stopped him.
How about the fact that Connaughton never put the ball back in his left hand to gather it? He palmed the ball with his right hand, held it out kind of like Michael Jordan extended it, and laid the ball in. That's talent right there.
Did you just say Connaughton had a Jordan-esque move to the hoop?
Yes, Jordan-esque Connaughton. Rayhan
probing, and then he turns it over. That's off the hands of Garland Owens. So Olivier Hanlon sparking a 7-0 Boston College run to put the Eagles up by 5. But Pat Connaughton, playing back in his home state, Jordan-esque to pull him within 3.
You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
Notre Dame and Boston College were rivals in the Big East. Now they're rivals in the ACC. No matter what the standings say, Notre Dame and BC, it's a rivalry. The first time they got together as ACC opponents in South Bend, it was Eric Atkins who had a free throw to send it to OT, has the triple in overtime to put Notre Dame ahead. Now there was time put back on the clock, so a chance for BC to win it. Rayhan's three wide left, and Notre Dame an overtime winner over Boston College in their first ACC meeting.
Eric Atkins had 24 points in that ball game. And you talk about vice versa. Hanlon only had 5 points in that ball game, 2 of 5 shooting in 37 minutes. But isn't that every player's dream? Have the ball in your hands as the shot clock is dwindling down and make a big-time play like Atkins made.
Knight blocked to the rim by Odio, but a follow from Tom Knight. How about Eric Atkins on Tuesday versus Clemson? Played 50 minutes in the double overtime game, 16 points, 6 assists. He told us, Eric Atkins did, that he pretty much lives in the ice tub right now for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, especially with Jackson gone, with Jaron Grant gone since December. He's had to play literally almost every minute of every game.
You talk about this team from the guard position is absolutely depleted. Lonnie Jackson could put up a lot of points, and then Jaron Grant was one guy towards the end of a ball game that can absolutely take the game over. One of the most talented players in the league, but he will be back next year, which will make Notre Dame that much better as well.
Demetrius Jackson will be back with the team tomorrow. On Monday, how about Olivier Hanlon? Steve Donahue says about Olivier Hanlon, we're really good when he's aggressive. Case in point, Olivier Hanlon starting off aggressive. Offensive board from Knight, gets the follow.
Tom Knight, one of the veterans of this basketball team, coming in and doing all the dirty work. While every white jersey was staring at the flight of the ball, Tom Knight was focused on carving out space for that offensive rebound, and that's what you want out of your big.
Olivier Hanlon already has more points tonight than he did in 37 minutes in that February 1 meeting in South Bend. Patrick Heckman. That's a tie-up. Possession arrow will keep it with Boston College, but only 6 seconds.
And how about Hanlon in the open court? Talk about changing speeds. Probing, burst of speed. Changes directions and has a plethora of shots at the rim. And that's something that Hanlon is exquisite at, getting that shot either under or over the top of the big.
BC didn't recognize the shot clock was winding down. Anderson literally turning back to the bench, questioning what the inbounds was there, but it is still BC by 1. And when we come back, Allison Williams has our ACC headlines.
Welcome back to ACC Sunday Night Basketball here on ESPNU. The Eagles with a 1-point lead over the Fighting Irish in this matchup. And let's take a look now at some of the ACC headlines from an exciting week in the conference. Boy, did we see some thrillers. Of course, with Syracuse, the #1 team in the country, surviving a couple of nail-biters earlier in the week. It was a big three-point shot from Tyler Ennis to help them hold on against Pittsburgh, and they needed last-second heroics again against NC State to remain unbeaten in the conference. And it is an end of an era in the ACC. Duke and Maryland, one of the great rivalries in this conference, played for the last time in the regular season, and it was one to remember for sure, with Duke getting the 2-point win. And the Tar Heels continue their streak, continuing to find ways to get it done, defeating Pittsburgh 75-71. James Michael McAdoo came up big, 24 points and 12 rebounds. And with them winning out 6 straight, it sets up for an even more exciting game Thursday in that rescheduled matchup against the Blue Devils.
Exactly right, Allison. How about this week in college basketball? If Duke takes care of business and wins at Georgia Tech, North Carolina takes care of business and wins at Florida State, those two will clash on Thursday evening at Chapel Thrill for a big-time game. Yes, I said Chapel Thrill, people, not Chapel Hill. And then you talk about after that game, Duke then has 1 day off, and they face Syracuse, another big-time matchup in which there will be a revenge game for the Dukies going against Hughes and Cameron.
So Duke's week at Georgia Tech, at Chapel Hill, home versus Syracuse. Quite a challenge ahead for the Blue Devils.
Most definitely. And, you know, the one constant for them has been Jabari Parker over his last 8 games, been averaging around 20-plus points, 8-plus rebounds, really playing well. But the one good sign for Duke in that win against Maryland, they didn't shoot the ball that well from the outside. They still found a way to win. But how sad of a game was that? You talk about the last time Duke and Maryland played. Charles Mitchell, they have such a good basketball team. Those kids work so hard, missed that layup, but the last time they will play before Maryland goes to the Big Ten.
Nice tap out rebound allows Lonnie Jackson to hit the triple. Third made 3 already for BC. Jackson, the junior from Valencia, California. Boston College has heavily recruited California, including Ryan Anderson. Atkins picks up his dribble. Down to the baseline for Tom Knight. 10 to shoot for Notre Dame. Atkins turns it over. McGarity picks his pocket. And now McGarity has it picked away by Austin Burgett. Beecham fouled at the rim.
It's like Burgett hurt his right knee. But what hustle by Burgett to get back involved in this play. McGarity doesn't even see him coming. Should have put that ball on the left side to shield it away from him, but that's the kind of hustle you want from Burgett. How about what he went through, Carter, coming back after everything this year, having that heart issue? I mean, that's a big-time player coming back from big-time adversity.
Austin Burgett went through that heart procedure just a few weeks ago. He's played only 16 minutes total in the last 2 games. One of the big issues for Austin Burgett is getting back into shape, including that procedure actually involved going through his leg. So there's some very serious issues, but obviously Austin Burgett getting back into shape basketball-wise and health-wise. Even at 19 between Notre Dame and BC.
And Beecham has to make sure that he stays down when he guards Hanlon. Hanlon's so good moving without the ball. If Beecham gets caught standing up, he will be left in the dust.
Heckman attacks, finds Eddie Odio for the dunk.
kids at home, the importance of a jump stop. Hackman came to a 2-footed jump stop, took his time, made sure his body was in control, then delivered a good bounce pass.
Foul on the floor on the other end against Odio prior to the shot.
Hackman right here just able to get into the lane on the poor closeout by Connaughton. The jump stop right there in the ball fake. Look at how every player's head is focused on Hackman right here. Nobody's paying attention to the Boston College player that goes behind the defense, and that's the kind of vision that you need to have once you're under control when you attack the paint.
4 fouls now against Boston College. Connaughton off the shot fake. Connaughton. Long 2 for Pat Connaughton, but he now has 11 in the game. 11 of Notre Dame's 21 from Pat Connaughton. Very sharp Boston College student section hoping for their 3rd ACC win of the year. Tap out rebound and the second chance for the Eagles. Here's Hanlon. Anderson a 3rd chance. Hanlon wants it back instead. Rayhan with the triple. 4th 3 of the game for Boston College.
Well, Notre Dame has to box out. You give up 2 offensive rebounds, and this Boston College team has shooters on the perimeter that are ready to knock down the shot. You know, Carl, the most difficult thing to do sometimes in an atmosphere like this, it's not that loud. You have to create your own energy. And for Boston College players, you have to create and bring your own energy, and that comes by communicating and playing hard. And sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do when the crowd isn't jumping up and down, going a little bit crazy.
You know,
doing that on the court.
It's a decent-sized crowd here at Conti Forum. There's a pretty good showing for Notre Dame and BC, but Jay, I think you're right. Describing them as quiet at this point?
Very quiet.
Other than the student section? Would be accurate.
If I were to yell right now, you can hear me across the court.
Pretty sure the Williamson family's hearing you right now.
And the fans are hearing me behind me. They should start getting pumped up. 2 claps.
Here's Rayhan to Garland to Owens, and a second chance for BC. 9 to shoot. Rayhan step back on Sherman. August there for the board. Eric Atkins, a senior from Columbia, Missouri. Sherman draws a double.
Good skip pass and better recovery by Boston College. They had a mismatch down low on Garrick Sherman. Atkins made a skip pass, but they recovered in enough time.
Atkins hits the 3.
It's the second time they ran that flare screen, and the big hasn't been able to get out in enough time to help on that shooter. The guard's trying to go over the top. The big has to get out there and contest that shot. The big is behind the play defensively. He has to communicate what screen is coming.
Odio turnaround short. August there for the board.
And that's where Ryan Anderson needs to be more aggressive. He needs to clear that out, and that's a one-on-one ISO.
Sherman bumped by Odio. Got another tie-up. It will be Notre Dame basketball. We're even at 24.
Well, Eric Atkins had a big-time game with 24 points the last time these 2 teams played. You see the flare screen. Eric Atkins, hands ready, knocks down the tray.
ACC Sunday Night Basketball. You're watching Sunday Night Basketball, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. We're even at 24, 7:04 to go in the first. Pat Connaughton homecoming game. He is a perfect 5 for 5 from the floor, 11 points.
Well, we've been doing an exceptional job of moving without the basketball, on curls, on flare screens, and then finding a way to finish strong at the basket. And then for Boston College, Hanlon, he's been their best player this year. A guy that can absolutely light up from outside, has a variety of moves of attacking the basket, and then also in transition to change the speed with the burst and finish at the rim.
11 for Connaughton to lead Notre Dame, 7 in the game for Hanlon. Again, Connaughton versus Clemson, just 3 for 10 shooting, 49 minutes played. That was the Tuesday night double overtime game where Notre Dame ended up beating Clemson. Been a heartbreaking week for Clemson. They lost yesterday to Virginia in a game that went down to the final seconds as well.
Got a chance to spend a lot of time with my guy yesterday, Digger Phelps, in Lexington, Kentucky at Rupp Arena for that heck of a basketball game between Florida and Kentucky. And we sat there and talked for a while about this Notre Dame basketball team. And by far the best game they played was without Jerry and Grant. And Digger was talking on and on and on about how they had 44 to 18 points in the paint in that ball game. They dominated the boards, and they did an exceptional job of spreading open the court and using dribble drives to get to the rim. And prime example right there, when they're able to do that and spread you open, Pat Connaughton, Eric Atkins, these guys have ways of attacking the rim.
That was the win over Duke back on January 4th. And then after the Duke win, it was 3 straight losses for Notre Dame. Now they're 4-8 in league play. And 0-6 on the road. Mike Brey not shying away from the motivation to win a road game. Told us before the game, absolutely, I mentioned it to the team. Let's go get our first road win of the season. The next 3 are on the road. Sherman off a good look from Eric Atkins. Eric Atkins' first assist of the game. Anderson, cross court, Owens. Second made 3 of the game for Garland to Owens. BC now 5 made 3s in the game, including a pair from Owens. Who had all of 12 made 3s on the year coming into the game. Atkins guarded by Hanlon. Atkins with a hand in his face knocks it down. Hanlon was right there with him, and Atkins hits the 3.
Eric Atkins shooting the ball with confidence. Saw that all day. August was playing that passing lane all day, and that's an and 1.
Finishing off the dunk, and a foul called on Anderson. So Zach August, the sophomore from Marlborough, Mass. Both the Massachusetts guys in the starting 5. Solid starts for the Irish.
And Zach August was absolutely sitting on that pass. Great anticipation. And then for Ryan Anderson, if you're going to foul right there, it can't be a tic-tac foul. You have to foul in which August is not able to get that ball above his waist. Don't let him finish at the rim for an and 1 opportunity. Make him earn both points at the free throw line.
Zach August is playing his best basketball as a member of the Fighting Irish. Had his first career double-double Tuesday versus Clemson. Zach August has 4 for the Irish here, although he can't finish off the 3-point play. Grew up coming to games here at Conti Forum and watching the Boston College Eagles.
And that goes back to a point we were talking about before, Carter. And you even heard Steve Donahue say, he says he has a lot of nice guys on their basketball team. And look, not saying that you're hurting anybody, but on a fast break like that, if you're going to foul him. Set the tone. Let him know that nothing's going to happen easy here on our home court.
There was definitely a toughness missing from BC. Big reason why they're 2-9 in the ACC. Dennis Clifford, who's been dealing with knee problems and still coming back from a surgery. He's only played 2 games this year. Very limited minutes for Dennis Clifford. They have shut him down. He's 7 foot, 250 pounds, so it would have provided a much more physical presence for BC.
And they need that. There have been a lot of games where they've been out rebounded 16 boards, 17, 18 boards, 23 boards. So losing that big body down low really hurts them, but it doesn't mean that they can't rebound. Rebounding is a team thing. Everybody needs to box out.
There's Zach August again to the hoop. So Zach August with 6 as back-to-back buckets for the Irish, leading to a Boston College timeout.
You see the ball goes down low. They double team. Sherman does a great job of kicking the ball out. And once again, an easy finish at the rim for August. And then on this next play, you're going to see the down screen. Stop it right here. You see, he pops out right here. He's not paying attention to the ball, and there's going to be a pass delivered right over the top due to the fact that Anderson is out there trying to hedge on that down screen. Eric Atkins with great vision to see over the top, but that's also due to the fact that there's no ball pressure. If there's ball pressure on Eric Atkins, he's not able to make that pass that easily over the top.
Big Monday on ESPNU in the SWAC. Anthony Calhoun and Stephen Howard have the call for you at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Mississippi Valley State versus Southern. Jaguars first place in the SWAC at 10-2, but one of those losses to Mississippi Valley State. So potential payback time on ESPNU. Mississippi Valley State versus Southern.
Carter, your knowledge of the game continues to impress.
Well, that's a big one in the SWAC, and it always is when the Delta Devils and the Jaguars get together. Odio fouled on the way up. Tom Knight draws the foul. 33-27 on a night of remembrance here at Conti 4. Here at Conti Forum, it's Notre Dame by 6 on Boston College. It is a night of remembrance for Dick Kelly, who passed away Thursday at the age of 48. To say that Dick Kelly was the men's basketball sports information director at Boston College doesn't approach what he meant to this school. He's been described by many as the heart of BC athletics, passionate, compassionate with everyone he dealt with, including us. Dick Kelly passed away after fighting ALS the past 4 years. Throughout even his last days, Dick was still emailing, tweeting, following everything about Boston College through a special technology that was set up for Dick. His presence strongly missed tonight in Chestnut Hill, and that's why you see every member of the Boston College basketball team, every member of the coaching staff wearing DK in memory of Dick Kelly.
Now, I never got a chance to meet Mr. Kelly, but every story that I've heard about him has been extremely positive. From delivering positive notes to people, quotes on a daily basis, to inspiring, to even making controversial statements about challenging people to hold themselves to higher standards. I respect everything he's been able to accomplish here, and he will always be remembered as one of the greats here at Boston College.
Ryan Anderson, a junior from Long Beach, California, arrived on campus even during his recruiting trip before the diagnosis of ALS, said every time that he talked to Dick Kelly, the question was not about basketball, not even about class, not even about academics. How are you doing as a person? How are you enjoying your Boston College experience? And that's the story you hear over and over. Everyone from Matt Ryan to Ryan Anderson about what Dick Kelly meant.
I wish there were more people in life that challenged you on a day-to-day basis to be a better person. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's okay for me to mess up here, it's okay for me to mess up there or accept failure. And it's not okay. We should all thrive to be better every single day, and that's what Dick Kelly represented.
Well, and that's with Notre Dame basketball, and you look at a situation like Demetrius Jackson where the academics were askew, and Mike Bray, not the university, not the athletic department, Mike Bray makes the decision to say, Demetrius Jackson, you need to get your academics in order before we worry about your basketball. Demetrius Jackson will be back with the team on Monday. While there is a timeout here with 4 points, we check in with Allison for more.
Well, guys, you mentioned how Boston College is wearing that DK patch on their jerseys. They also have a seat here in press row that sits empty tonight with Dick Kelly's name attached. He spent so many hours here in press row dedicated to this Boston College program. And one of the great scenes that I remember was last year against Virginia when Boston College won at the buzzer and the entire team swarmed over and mobbed Kelly on press row. And it was in that moment you could see just how much he meant to each and every one of these players. And Carter, I love what Ryan Anderson said. Whenever you saw Dick Kelly, the question was that he asked was, are you keeping a smile on your face? And he lived by his motto for so many years of positive and humble, and Kelly will forever be remembered within this Boston College program.
Virginia coach Tony Bennett brought up that moment yesterday, a game that they lost, and Tony Bennett said what a special moment that was for Dick Kelly and for Boston College. Shot clock winding down here for Notre Dame. Vistoria dumps it off. Knight can't finish, but a second chance as Steve Vistoria tracks it down.
Now, I wanted to make one quick comment as regards to Mike Bray holding Demetrius Jackson out. A lot of people love to say, oh, it's okay, you know, you can always fall back in your education if basketball doesn't work out. And I completely disagree with that statement. You can always fall back on basketball. You can always fall back in your education. You know, your education is first, okay? Basketball is second. So, you know, don't take this game for granted. Work hard in school, because if you're eventually going to be a business one day, you should start preparing to be that business.
Tom Knight gets the follow there. And so Demetrius Jackson has not been, I mean, this is the second game without him. He wasn't playing great minutes for Notre Dame. But Mike Bray's been working out with him individually. And again, he is will be back with the team tomorrow and make the trip to Miami. Joe Rayon hits the triple. That is now 6 threes in the first half for Boston College, keeping him in the game.
Boston College changing it up, going to a matchup zone. Now going back man-to-man.
Sherman. Odio rips the rebound.
Solid job by Odio right there, not to swipe down, but to hold his ground.
Outlet, Hanlon finds Owens. Anderson fouled on the stick back. Super Tuesday, NC State and Clemson both trying to bounce back from heartbreaking games on Saturday. NC State almost knocked off #1 Syracuse. Clemson went down to the wire with Virginia. And then in the SEC, Georgia, Tennessee. That's Super Tuesday, ESPNU.
A lot of NC State fans very mad, thinking that should have been an and one on TJ Warren. And look, if it's continuation, yes, that call could have gone either way. But even more importantly for NC State, you have 2 turnovers in the last minute of that ball game. That's what makes it tough to win those ball games. You catch that ball in that corner, there's no need to get rid of it that quickly. Just hold on to the ball, and eventually Syracuse would have had to foul you.
Is there any doubt who's the most thrilling team in college basketball this year?
The Q's keeps it exciting every single night, and as much as people want to say, oh, they're lucky, it's a matter of time, you know, they're always on the verge of being beaten. Well, guess what? They win every game. They've been finding ways to win games. If that's a Tyler Ennis 3 at the buzzer, if that's C.J. Fair capitalizing off a transition pass from Ennis off a steal against NC State, this team constantly finds a way to win each day, night and day.
Odio blood somewhere on him, so the game comes to an end. So here's the game comes to a stop. Here's the endings between Pittsburgh and Syracuse, NC State, Syracuse, Maryland, and Duke. I mean, really a thrilling week.
And how about the fact that Syracuse have been able to win their past 2 games without their center, without Musa Keita.
Yeah, the depth has changed the way they play defense, especially.
I can't believe nobody's brought that up. I mean, their front line is a little bit slim. If Jeremy Grant or C.J. Fair or King Christmas got in foul trouble, all of a sudden that's a huge advantage for the other team.
It's ironic that one of the few happy coaches in February is Jim Boeheim.
Very true. But listen, the one thing you do know, Jim much rather be happy in March than in February.
Absolutely. Here's Atkins behind the screen from Knight. Anderson hedges out. So a wide open Beecham buries the 3. VJ Beecham, the freshman from Indiana.
Eric Atkins coming off that screen and dragging that double team out. Something a lot of kids don't do. A lot of kids will pick their dribble up. He kept that dribble going, took the ball over to the sideline, forced the double team to stay with him, and made an extra kick over the top to Beecham for a wide open knockdown.
Pastoria goes out and fouls Handler. That's just the 5th foul on Notre Dame. So had a foul to give and have one more foul to give before the end of the half. But Pastoria gets his 3rd. It's his 2nd, rather. That's the 2nd on Pastoria. So, shot clock turned off.
I love when fans say people can't play and he's one of the leading scorers on the other team. Atkins, you can't play. Well, he has 11 points.
Nobody stops Hanlon. Easy layup, 3-point game. So Boston College goes 6 for 9 from 3-point in the first half, and yet it's Notre Dame who has a 3-point advantage, 38-35. BC led by 3 at the half. Tonight, Notre Dame leads by 3 at the half. Allison Williams is with Mike Bray.
Thank you very much, Carter. Coach Bray, Pat Connaughton, 11 points in that first half. What has led to him getting some good looks?
Yeah, I think he's very excited to play back home, and he kind of jump-started us. You know, I love we have 38 points. We're scoring pretty efficiently here. Got to get better defensively, but for the most part, they haven't crushed us from the three-point line.
Yeah, what do you need to do better with your perimeter defense, though?
Well, you know, we're so aware of guarding the arc, we're going to give up some layups, and we're going to have to live with that a little bit. I think maybe we can change some defense some in the second half.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Notre Dame by 3. Chestnut Hill. Now we send you on to Dari and Dino.
You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
From Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, this is the ACC on ESPN. Sunday night basketball, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. It is Notre Dame by 3 on Boston College in the second ACC meeting between Notre Dame and BC. Carter Blackburn with my buddy Jay Williams, my buddy Allison Williams here from Chestnut Hill,
family.
Mass. Happy to be an honorary Williams on Sunday night. All right, Jay, you told us in one-on-one, Notre Dame's big 3 had to play well. How do you evaluate the first half?
Well, Pat Connaughton has done a great job of coming off down screens, Carter, and once he curls into the paint, finishing at the rim, he had 11 of Notre Dame's first 21 points. And then Eric Atkins also has been able to step up on the perimeter and knocking down some jump shots. So the big 3 have been doing well. We're going to break down some plays here to show you how they've been doing it. You see the pass right over to the top to Garrick Sherman for his 2 points, only 2 points in the first half. And Eric Atkins attacking the rim. He has 8 points. And then Connaughton right there with the strong finish. Hasn't had a basket in the last 9 minutes of the first half, though. And then the answer for Boston College, Hanlon. He's been doing it from the outside, from the inside, a variety of moves, and just been spectacular with an array of finishes at the rim. He has 9 first half points, and he's been a major reason why they've been staying in the ball game. Also, Boston College shooting 67% from the three-point line. Notre Dame has to do a better job of guarding Hanlon off those ball screens.
Boston College has 6 made threes, 7 made twos. They're shooting much better from 3 than from 2, which has been the plus and minus for Boston College all year. Anderson airballs a 2 on his first look. Atkins attacks.
You know, for Ryan Anderson, very similar to Julius Randle. At the beginning of the year, Julius Randle took too much time on the post. Too much time jabbing, dribbling. In order to advance your game to the next level, Carter, in order to advance your game to the NBA level, you catch the ball, if you don't see a double team, you have to immediately go. You have to go. You have to make a quick move and be aggressive with that move. If you hover too long, you allow the defense to collapse, and then all of a sudden you end up having a bad shot.
So your advice for Ryan Anderson is be more aggressive, be more physical.
Be more aggressive, be more physical. When you catch the ball on a block, don't take too much time probing. Turn, face, make a move. He has the offensive skill set to be dominant on the block, just needs to make a quicker move.
Now Ryan Anderson did earn the Energy Eagle today. Allison's going to have more on the Energy Eagle later. So we'll save the Energy Eagle explanation for later in the second half.
How many times can you say Energy Eagle?
BC fans have got a DVR and go back and count. Beecham misses the 2, and there's Anderson for the rebound. Boston College just 2 ACC wins, both of those over Virginia Tech, last place team in the league. Notre Dame has not won a road game this year. Blocked by August on the drive from Garland Owens.
So Owens brought the ball back to his right hand, back into the defender. Something Owens needs to work on. If you attack on the left side, use your left hand around the rim. Use your right hand to protect the shot.
Garland Owens making just his 4th start of the year for BC. Connaughton, pump fake. Rayhan right there with him. 8 to shoot. August wants it. Now he'll screen for Atkins. 3 to shoot, and a foul with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Chance for us to check with Allison Williams.
Well, Carter, Jay mentioned how Boston College has been able to get Olivier Hanlon open off the ball screen. So continue to do that more in the second half, but they want to switch it up a little bit. Do it more off the catch, less off the dribble, so they can be a little bit quicker utilizing it, maybe catch the defense off balance. Also defensively against Pat Connaughton, I talked to Steve Donahue, and he said they have to start switching more on those down screens to try and get some better defense on him.
Garrick Sherman finishes that one off for Notre Dame, just the second bucket of the game for the senior from Kenton, Ohio. Hanlon off the screen from Anderson. Pick and roll. Anderson attacks, misses at the rim. Sherman boards.
Solid job by Garrick Sherman, rotating over from the weak side, holding his ground.
Atkins.
Who's stopping the ball? Who for Boston College is stopping the ball? Everybody retracted back to the paint, but nobody paid attention to stopping the basketball, which is the most important thing.
Atkins 3 for 3 from behind the arc, 11 in the game. The lead 6. And a turnover by BC.
You're going to see right here in defensive transition, both bigs are up, but nobody understands who they had. Olivier Hanlon was back guarding the big, but nobody came back. And then once again for Notre Dame, that's what they've been running all day long. A down screen. Connaughton is curling off that down screen. The big isn't hedging. The big isn't playing with his hands. And once again, able to turn the corner and find a big for a pass. They're running one offensive set, and it's working every single time.
Zach August with a tough finish on the baseline. Notre Dame has its largest lead of the night, +8 on the road at BC. Odio to Anderson, who finishes it off.
Now you see Boston College going into a box and one.
Connaughton has to fight for it. That was touched by Lonnie Jackson. 10 to shoot. Sherman goes baseline, denied by Anderson. Irish keep it, 7 to shoot.
Boston College getting burned when they play man-to-man. Not a bad idea to change up their defensive set. Go to a box and one, 2-3 zone. Keep Notre Dame guessing.
Connaughton misses the open 3. Fight for the rebound. That's same. Rayhan and Odio. Rayhan gets it. Odio back to Lonnie Jackson. There's August.
A good find right there by Jackson. They kind of wanted Boston College to slow down. Eric Atkins at 6'1" was guarding Anderson at 6'8". A major disadvantage if they had slowed down a little bit. It was wide open on the first possession.
4 points in the second half for Anderson. Notre Dame led by 8. BC's cut that in half. Sherman bumped by Ryan Anderson. That's his second. Sending us to an official timeout. Notre Dame trying to win its first road game of the year. ACC Sunday Night Basketball, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. Notre Dame, Congregation of the Holy Cross versus Boston College, Jesuit institution. Oh, it's a rivalry, all right. Our next Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic Game. Saturday, 7 Eastern, the rematch. Syracuse-Duke at Cameron. Jay Williams, what are you looking most forward to about Syracuse-Duke, the rematch?
Well, it wasn't until late in the second half that Mike Krzyzewski put Jabari Parker in the middle of that zone. And once he was able to do that, Jabari Parker has the mid-range game and the passing ability to dice up that zone. So look for Jabari to start hovering in the middle of that zone early. And also, you know, Duke didn't shoot the ball that well from the outside in their last game against Maryland. They have to shoot the ball well against Syracuse. And then vice versa for Syracuse, Tyler Ennis, that kid is just smooth as ice all the time. He never shows emotion. He's been playing at an exceptionally high level. C.J. Fair needs to continue to attack, and you wonder if Cater will be back for that ball game. If he's healthy, it gives him a sizable advantage down low on the block.
I have a suggestion for you and Seth the next time you hash it out. Most underrated team in college basketball, Virginia. They're second place in the ACC, 9 straight wins, 11-1, only loss at Duke, and the number 17 because they had the bad non-conference.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's my suggestion.
No, I'm with you. I think Tony Bennett has done an exceptional job with this year's basketball team, and having Malcolm Brogdon really helps Joe Harris because they can share the scoring load on the perimeter.
Will McGarity finishes in transition. Connaughton. Odio there for the rebound. 6 straight.
Joe Rayhan contested that one late. You have to find Pat Connaughton on the perimeter. Shooting over 40% from the three-point line.
Rayhan will head to the free throw line. A chance to tie it after BC trailed by 8. They've scored 6 straight. Rayhan has 2 more. Joe Rayhan, the sophomore from San Diego, Torrey Pines High School, where he won a state title. The staff recruited Nick Kerr to Cornell when Steve Donahue's staff was with the Big Red. And when Joe Rayhan said, well, I want to play in the ACC, perfect match when Steve Donahue came to Boston College to bring Joe Rayhan from Torrey Pines High School to BC.
Joe Rayhan always plays within himself, a knockdown three-point shooter. You know, he's had some on and off moments, but you can tell with that stroke, a pure jump shot and a very high basketball IQ.
7 in the game now for Rayhan, a pair of threes, and then attacking off the dribble there. Now he has a chance to tie it. Missed the chance to even it, so Notre Dame still on top. Atkins, wide open 3. I mean, empty, and he has a nice smile for the BC student section as he jogs back down the court. 14 in the game now for Atkins.
What a big-time miscommunication. I don't know if Lonnie Jackson thought they were in a zone or man-to-man, because he absolutely left Eric Atkins wide open from the three-point line.
Second chance for BC. Odio back to Olivier Hanlon. Pick and roll with McGarity. Hanlon instead finds Rayhan. Atkins right there with them on the catch. Odio shot fake. Spinning in the lane. Finishes through contact. Eddie Odio had 11 points in the first half versus North Carolina. Career high 12 in the game. Hasn't scored in double figures since. That was nearly a month ago. Off the Vistoria miss. Tom Knight offensive board. Knight has 5 offensive rebounds in the game for Notre Dame. Atkins off the curl, knocked away, gets it back. Knight, Connaughton. Knight fighting for another rebound. Atkins to the floor and gets the timeout call.
A great hustle by Atkins, but you like the fact that on that last curl that Atkins had, McGarity did a better job of rotating over from the weak side to stop that. But people talk about defining plays in games, plays that win basketball games. Who's going to be the first to dive on the floor and make the hustle play? Mr. Atkins was.
Notre Dame leads BC by 2. ACC Sunday Night Basketball. Jay takes us inside the play.
Carter, it's about defensive miscommunication. Lonnie Jackson, it looks like they're in a man-to-man right here, but he thinks they're in zone. The pass goes over to the left, and he goes for the double team, not understanding why, which leaves Eric Atkins wide open for a knockdown 3. And Sometimes when you have those kind of breakdowns in defense, those are huge blows. You talk about this ball game is tight, 46-48. If that possession doesn't happen, all of a sudden the Eagles are up 46-45.
Eric Atkins in the first meeting had the game-winning three, had the free throw to send it to overtime, a career-high 24 points, and he has put a terrific line together tonight in the second meeting against BC.
You know, I got a chance in studio to watch Tennessee play Florida, and there was a loose ball. And the difference in that ball game was that Tennessee bent down at the knees for the loose ball, and Patrick Young dove for the loose ball. And sometimes that shows toughness within itself. Who's willing to make those really tough plays to win ball games? And Jerry and Grant, now, I mean, why do I keep saying Jerry and Grant? Praise the Lord. Eric Atkins makes a three, but he also dives for the loose ball.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Pat Connaughton has gone 17-plus minutes without scoring after the hot start, where Connaughton had 7 of the first 9 for Notre Dame, 11 of the first 21. Connaughton hasn't scored since. The junior from Arlington, Mass. Was the Gatorade Player of the Year here in Massachusetts.
He's getting wide open looks though, Carter. Wide open looks due to bad defensive positioning, and just can't knock him down. Can't ask for anymore if you're Pat Connaughton, though. You want to have open looks.
Anderson attacks, shot fake, can't finish. Connaughton fighting for the rebound. Notre Dame wins it. Atkins eyes up, finds Pistoria, fouled on the way to the rim. It began with Eric Atkins.
Eric Atkins always keeping his head up, and those are the kind of passes you want from your top elite point guard.
Notre Dame Bay 2 on BC. For more on stuffed animals, here's Allison Williams.
Well, and it has to do with basketball too, Carter, because as you know, for Boston College, it's been a frustrating season, and that can make it a challenge for guys to bring it every day in practice. So now you enter the stuffed animal, the Energy Eagle. Steve Donahue brought it in after the Duke loss, and he gives it out after each practice to the player that brings the most energy and enthusiasm. He said it's just a nice reminder for guys that you need to go out there, give it your all, ever to excel, as is the BC motto. Now, Ryan Anderson won it today, and he was pretty excited about it. First time he won the Energy Eagle, and it's kind of interesting, Carter, because you know he said you have to keep it safe because the guys will pull pranks and try and hide it from you because it's your responsibility to return it the next day to practice. But I had some of my spies sneak in and get it from Ryan, but I promise I'll get the Eagle back to its nest so he doesn't get in trouble tomorrow.
Allison, where do you put the Eagle? Like, if you win an Eagle, where do you put it?
You hide it in your locker, in a bag, maybe somewhere in your dorm. I don't know. It's different for each player, but you got to keep it kind of hidden so other guys don't try and steal it.
That is extra reporting work by Allison Williams to not only tell us about the Energy Eagle, but to actually track down the Eagle itself.
It's investigative reporting right there.
I hope that it finds its way back into Ryan Anderson's possession, because yes, it's important to hold on to the Energy Eagle. You don't want Notre Dame sneaking out of here with the Energy Eagle either. I mean, it is rivalry, so you know, stolen mascots, that's just part of a rivalry, right?
Both teams just need a win here, regardless of whether it's a stuffed eagle or not.
Well, it's just part of one of the, I mean, when you're Boston College, and there were big expectations. This was supposed to be a Boston College team that was going to be in the top half, top third, ACC, contend for an NCAA tournament spot. They closed out last year, winning 4 of their last 5 in the ACC, bringing all 5 starters back. So to be 2-9 at this point, to have 6 games where you would lost by 3 points or less, yeah, it's the point of the season where Steve Donahue says to remain optimistic, to keep my guys engaged day in, day out. There are things like an Energy Eagle you have to invoke.
There's no doubt it's been a disappointing season for Boston College, but this is a chance to see the true character of the Eagles. When things aren't going your way, who are you going to be? Are you going to be the team that lays down and quits? Or are you going to be the team that continues to fight and want to get better each and every possession?
Here it is mid-February, and both of these coaches are talking about, all right, the task now is build for Greensboro in the ACC tournament. Knight off a good look from Austin Burgett.
Burgett doing a really good job of driving the ball to that short corner, coming under control, and finding the shooter to knock it down.
Hanlon behind the screen from Anderson.
Hanlon's been extremely quiet in the second half as well.
Usually a second half scorer, Olivier Hanlon.
Once again, poor defensive transition by Boston College. A couple of times they've had a difficult time rotating over to find shooters. And the one thing you have to do when you're running back on the defensive end, you have to communicate and point with your butt towards the baseline and point to where shooters are on the court. I mean, that ball isn't really being pushed that hard down the court, and nobody's able to find the shooter who's wide open in the corner.
7 straight to put Notre Dame up by 9. Largest lead of the game for the Irish. This is the preseason poll. You see why we talk about disappointing seasons for Notre Dame and Boston College. The Irish were picked 5th first year in the ACC. Boston College was picked 8th. They actually finished 8th last year, did Boston College, in the ACC with all. In 12th place, Wake, Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame all with 4 ACC wins.
How about the job that Brad Brownell has done with Clemson? His team was picked to finish second to last in the ACC, and now they're tied with North Carolina State for 5th place. KJ McDaniels is one of the top players in the ACC that nobody talks about. 6'6", athletic, can score the mid-range jumper. They just need some other players to step up and help carry the load offensively.
Joe Rayhan 9 in the game now for BC. Clemson lost a tough one yesterday. Talk about trying to put together a resume for March. They had Virginia with only 1 ACC loss at home. Cavaliers able to come back and win it at the end.
Hey, you talk about them losing, you talk about NC State, you know, losing a huge opportunity to Syracuse, Maryland losing a huge opportunity to Duke. Now, you're going to have chances to get wins in this conference, but you have to be ready to capitalize and finish the ball game.
Clemson and NC State meet Tuesday night on ESPNU.
TJ Warren, one of the top players in the conference as well.
ACC's leading scorer
for NC State. The Fighting Mark Gottfrieds.
Boy, must have been a tough ride home after that one that he carried home last night.
He said that like a Syracuse alum. Hey, don't think that you can't give me a jab here or there about me graduating from Duke, and I can't give you a jab about graduating from Syracuse.
Allison is a Miami alum, so we're all 3 ACC alums. Some more traditional than others. Rayhan underneath the basket. Here's Hanlon attacking. Air ball from Hanlon, but Anderson there to help him out. 11 in the game for Ryan Anderson. To go along with 9 rebounds. So nearly a double-double for Anderson.
Now Boston College in the zone.
Odio off another Connaughton miss. After the hot start, Pat Connaughton's gone cold. At 11 of the first 21 for Notre Dame, hasn't scored since. Odio kicks out. Garland Owens.
Both teams settling for a lot of jump shots. Both teams in a defensive end are challenging those jump shots by leaving their feet. Nothing wrong with giving a head fake and trying to attack the rim. Put the ref in a position to make a call. Maybe you can find yourself at the free throw line.
Notre Dame by 7. When we return, we'll talk about the remaining unbeatens in college basketball. When will Syracuse or Wichita State lose? Well, Wichita State with tonight's win over Evansville, now 27-0. First start, 27-0 since St. Joe's, the year where they earned a #1 bid. Wichita State got a test tonight from Evansville, but Fred Van Fleet, 18 points, 8 assists, 5 steals, and Wichita State pulls away from Evansville to remain undefeated. Syracuse Wednesday versus Boston College, Saturday versus Duke at Cameron Indoor.
Wichita State will eventually get #1 seed if they win out. Let's look at the Associated Press top 10. Syracuse still on top. Arizona losing to Arizona State. That will probably change tomorrow. Controversial play at the end of that ball game. Jahi Carson could have got popped for a technical foul, but did not. Florida got a big-time win on the road against Kentucky the other day. Kansas still in there, Duke in there. Michigan State losing to Nebraska today on the road as well. That will change for the Spartans. Both Michigan State and Michigan tied at the top of the Big Ten.
Remaining tied. Michigan State, if they would have handled Nebraska, that was at home in East Lansing. Michigan State would have been alone atop the Big Ten standings because Wisconsin beat Michigan. Allison's spending a lot of time in the Big Ten these days. Tuesday, Iowa, Indiana. Super Tuesday with Mike Tirico and Dan Dockich.
Hey, Carl, I want to get back to Wichita State for 1 second. We got a chance to spend some time with Greg Marshall in the studio. And first off, he is a brilliant coach. He gets his kids to play angry each and every possession. But also, they have a leader in Cleanthony Early, a guy who understands how to win. And Fred Van Vliet is probably the most improved player in the country. 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, has a knack for knocking down big shots. And they have supportive pieces, guys like Darius Carter. Guys who are able to knock down shots, and Ron Baker. They are a dangerous team and will be a #1 seed.
Heckman, that's a blocking foul with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Zach August commits the foul to bail out Heckman and BC. Third on Zach August. And 5 team fouls, both teams now with 5 team fouls. I like what Greg Marshall said, talking about pressure building. He said, well, you go back to last March when they had the run to the Final Four. He said, we've played through pressure before, we embrace pressure, which I guess is what you have to do when you're 27-0.
Yeah, I mean, first team to go 27-0 since Memphis did it with Derrick Rose and company when they got all the way to the championship game. And the way they do it, Carter, is they don't look ahead. We did that my junior year. We looked ahead to the Elite Eight, and we end up losing the Sweet 16. The more you focus on each game at each time is the more successful you will be. You have to focus on the task at hand, and now the task at hand for Wichita State is their next game on the resume.
Joe Lenardi agrees with you that if they win out, they're a #1 seed. Arizona losing to Arizona State in overtime, so Florida primed to be the #2 team in the country with that win over Kentucky last night.
Arizona still has to play at Utah next, and then they have to go on the road for game day again this weekend, coming up Saturday against Colorado.
Atkins turns it over, loose ball. Anderson has it, and Atkins commits the foul on the floor. That is the first turnover this half by Notre Dame, and it results in a foul on Atkins.
It's going to screen. Great hands right there by Anderson to have active hands. And we talk about defining plays in games. Who's going to be the first to get down the ground? Both players decide to dive and fight for that loose ball, and that made a huge difference now considering it's Boston College basketball.
That's big for BC that it's Anderson down on the ground fighting for that loose ball.
That's where your leadership needs to come from. Your leadership needs to come from your 2 best players, and that is Hanlon, and by no doubt, that is Ryan Anderson. They set the tone for everybody else.
Hanlon crossing over on Atkins, but he gives it up. Heckman driving on August. 9 to shoot. Hanlon.
What a blow-by move.
Woo, gets past Atkins, fouled by Sherman.
What a big-time move. You talk about a burst of speed. Hanlon is brilliant at lulling you to sleep. Once you relax a little jab, and goes right by you and has a chance for an and-one opportunity and gets Garrett Sherman a foul. When you watch a lot of young players play, they play the game at 1,000 miles per hour. The good ones, it looks like if you're a fan that the game is being played at 1,000 miles per hour, but for them, the game has slowed down drastically. And your ability to change speeds is what can throw the defensive player off balance.
Hanlon, who had a career low 5 points in 37 minutes the first time against South Bend. Somewhere in there, a foul spotted by Pat Driscoll. It's on Ryan Anderson. 16 fouls against BC, so the next is bonus, and that's now number 3 on Anderson.
You're Boston College. Okay, you missed a free throw. Ryan Anderson got his 3rd foul, but next play, you got to focus on getting a defensive stop.
Notre Dame trying to get its first road win of the year. 0-6 on the road, 0-5 in the ACC, 3 straight road games ahead, spanning 5,800 miles for Notre Dame. Connaughton on the drive.
Thank you. Thank you.
1-1 coming here. We told you about this one on Big Monday. This was a big one in the SWAC. Southern has only 2 losses, but one of those to the Delta Devils. So it's Mississippi Valley State versus Southern. Big Monday presented by Verizon. Anthony Calhoun and DePaul great Stephen Howard have that one for you. 9 Eastern, ESPNU. Connaughton finally off of 11 points. That's the first points in almost 24 minutes. I said points. It's the first points in 24 minutes for Pat Connaughton.
And one of the keys to being a good defensive team is when your back line is able to communicate when screens are coming. And that back line for Boston College right now is Heckman and also Anderson. They need to be the 2 most vocal people on the court for BC defensively. If they don't talk, these guards will never know if a screen is coming or how to defend on a curl.
And the problem for BC has not been offense. They're actually 3rd points per possession in the league behind Syracuse and Duke. But they are last in the ACC points allowed, last in the ACC in field goal percentage allowed. Hanlon off the back cut. Anderson finds it. 4-point game. Hanlon had only 5 points in the first meeting, 14 already in the second. Connaughton there to help out Brigette. Atkins resets.
Astoria needs to continue to curl on that. If he had curled, he would have had a layup.
5 to shoot. Connaughton. Wow. Tough 2. First field goal in almost 26 minutes for Pat Connaughton.
Pat Connaughton using that strong upper body frame to bully his way to the basket. The big time play by one of the leaders for Notre Dame.
Rayhan thought about the 3, drives on Atkins, and a foul on the floor, but that will send Rayhan to the line for 1-on-1.
Astoria decides not to curl, and Pat Connaughton takes it upon himself to bully his way to the basket, not extending that arm for an offensive foul. Smart move. And then moving without the basketball. Look at that. Just schooling the rookie in that one, and Hanlon moving without the ball. You have to be on his inside. If anything, force him to use that down screen. You can't allow him to move without the basketball like that. You have to stay on one side, dictate to Hanlon which way you want him to go defensively.
Rayhan 1 for 2 at the line tonight. 1-1 here. Friendly roll.
Carter, you talk about how to take advantage of freshmen sometimes defensively. One of the things I always look for is he bending over? Is his hands on his knees? Is he tired? And if he's tired, now I'm going to start moving more without the ball. And then also defensively, if I see you stand up, I'm going to walk you down, and then I'm going to burst off some kind of screen, because there's no way you can react quick enough standing up to catch back up to me on the offensive end.
So you're reading stance.
100%. I'm reading stance, and I'm looking at you, seeing how tired you are. The more tired you are, the more I'm going to keep you moving defensively.
Carter Blackburn, Jay Williams, Allison Williams. 4-point game. Sherman airballs with a left. BC on the run. Hanlon. Olivier Hanlon misses. Owens boards.
Great pursuit of the basketball by Owens to get that offensive rebound.
Hanlon, Rayhan misses a wide open three that would have cut it to 1. Notre Dame wants a timeout. Mike Brey takes that timeout to get Tom Knight and Zach August back in the game. It is a 30-second timeout. Well, Super Tuesday begins in the ACC. We talked about the difficult Saturdays for NC State and Clemson. Which team can bounce back? The Clemson Tigers, who have lived on the road for the past month, have another home game at Littlejohn Coliseum versus Mark Gottfried's NC State team. Georgia versus Tennessee follows 9 o'clock Eastern time, ESPNU Tuesday.
Mark Fox's team in 3rd place in the SEC. Georgia, yes, in 3rd place in the SEC.
Speaking of, Jay, we have a blind resume challenge for you. You see the RPIs of 75 and 52. These are two teams who are a part of our Super Tuesday coverage on ESPNU. One of them has 1 top 50 win, the other 2.
Oh, you have to go with the team 15 and 10, 52 RPI, 9 strength of schedule, and 2 and 6. 2 is more than 1. I'll go with the team on the right.
That is fantastic math.
Good
2 is more than 1.
Yes.
In Tennessee. And the biggest win for Tennessee this year is over Virginia. A blowout win at the end of December for the Vols over Virginia. So Clemson in the discussion right now. They're on the outside looking in. Tennessee perhaps in.
And Tennessee also beat Xavier. Once again, great poise by Connaughton, not having a shot the first time, giving a ball fake, keeping his composure, and then providing the little hook shot. You like that math, don't you? 2 is better than 1.
2 is better than 1. Connaughton has scored the last 6 points for Notre Dame. So Connaughton, after a quiet 25 minutes back in Massachusetts, finding his rhythm again. He has the last 6 for the Irish. Notre Dame by 6. Spinning to the end of ACC Sunday Night Basketball from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. Carter Blackburn, Jay Williams, Allison Williams. All right, Notre Dame doesn't have a road win. They're up by 6, 3:13 to go. What do the Irish have to do to finally get a road victory this year?
Well, it all depends on how they guard this on-ball screen action. Hanlon has been able to turn that corner many times. That big has to get out there. Whoever that big is, McGarity, Heckman, they have to hedge extremely hard. And if anything, you might start thinking that Notre Dame might start blitzing those on-ball screens just to get the ball out of Hanlon's hands.
Rayhan hits the first of 2 here. Joe Rayhan, the sophomore from San Diego. Boston College, 6 for 9 3-pointers in the first half. The Eagles have not made a 3 in the second half. Rayhan's free throws bring us back to a 4-point game. Eagles have not gone away. Notre Dame led by 8, led by 9 at points in this second half. 3-quarter court pressure from the Eagles.
The Eagles dropping back. Seems some kind of matchup zone. Nope, going back into man-to-man. Huge advantage down low. Rayhan is on Tom Knight.
Connaughton trying to get it in there. 5 to shoot. August spinning around Eddie Odio. 10 points now for Zach August, the sophomore from Massachusetts. Rayhan needs help. Rayhan in the paint again, back out to Hanlon. Olivier Hanlon, screen and roll, Anderson. Hanlon takes it at Atkins. Anderson misses the follow. Anderson thought that was a goaltending against Notre Dame, but no basket, 6-point edge for the Irish, under 2 to go. August walked. Break for BC.
We're going to show BC at the end as Hanlon comes off this ball screen. Rayhan is on the left side of the court, but he's way up too high. He's up here. He needs to be down here in the corner. His man is helping off. You're going to see right there, Astoria just helping off, and it leaves no room for Hanlon to drive. Rayhan needs to be deep in that corner, needs to be a shooter with his hands ready. This way when Hanlon comes off that screen, he can either attack the rim, or if his guy Vassouria helps off, he can kick it to Rayhan in the corner for a 3.
You talked about Notre Dame defending ball screens on Olivier Hanlon. Better job that time by the Irish?
Well, it was a better contest at the rim, but Hanlon still found himself at the rim for a layup.
Anderson misses, but Tom Knight straight up in the air, so missed opportunity for the Eagles. Atkins and Notre Dame trying to run clock, up by 6 with 1:15.
Good job by Atkins being aware of that 5-second count.
It up, Tom Knight. The 6th offensive rebound for the 5th-year senior from Maine, Tom Knight.
Well, Steve Donahue went small, and they involved Ryan Anderson in the ball screen. Ryan Anderson got caught on the backside of Garrick Sherman and never got a chance to get involved in the play. When you go small, with the sides that Sherman and Knight provide, that's how they're able to get that offensive rebound.
Tom Knight, 10 points, 9 rebounds in the game. That equals his career high for rebounds. Knight, it's the first double-digit scoring game for the 5th-year senior since the first game of the year against Miami of Ohio. So Tom Knight, who missed 4 games in the middle of the season because of illness, back on the floor, and what a night for the 5th-year senior from Maine, closing in on a double-double. It would be the first of his career, tying the career high, and 6 of those 9 rebounds offensive for Tom Knight.
And that's an offensive rebound that I do not think Notre Dame would have had if Dennis Clifford were available. You talk about a guy who's 6'11", 7 foot in the middle of the paint that can take up a lot of size and help you rebound the ball defensively.
BC still doesn't have a made 3 in the second half. Hanlon earns a trip to the free throw line, stopping the clock at 47.9. 4 fouls for Vassouria, the freshman from Medford, New Jersey.
Now you get into a fouling scenario. You make these 2 free throws. All of a sudden you're down 6 points. You got to start fouling. Not a good thing considering Notre Dame is shooting 72% from the free throw line this season.
Hanlon gets the first of 2. Sophomore from Quebec. Part of the explosion of Canadian basketball players, not only in college basketball, but the NBA.
Anthony Bennett, you talk about playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's finally starting to play a tad bit better after coming from the D-League. Tyler Ennis for Syracuse.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins. How could I have forgotten Andrew Wiggins?
The scouts have not forgotten. 6-point game, so 2 possession. Vassouria fouled on the end down by Olivier Hanlon. Second on Hanlon. I mean, just in the ACC, you have Hanlon and Ennis. Jim Boeheim tried to tell everyone in the summer, this kid Tyler Ennis is special. He has poise. He can handle 35-plus minutes. And there was still skepticism. I think Tyler Ennis has proved everyone who was skeptical wrong.
A lot of scouts projecting him to be a lottery pick in this year's NBA draft. It will be very difficult for Tyler Ennis to turn that down. I got a chance to play for the same coach that coached him in high school at St. Benedict's, a guy named Mark Taylor. And Mark Taylor started telling me last year that this kid has the poise, he has the confidence, and he has the leadership ability to make for a great point guard, not only in the ACC, but in the NBA as well.
Boston College at Syracuse on Wednesday. That'll be the matchup between Hanlon and Ennis at the point. We chatted with Tyler Ennis last week. He said, there's no question I heard the criticism or the skepticism of people in the summer about whether he could take over the point guard role as a freshman from Michael Carter Williams. Nobody's saying that anymore.
Well, how about the fact that the kid shows no emotion? As you see Notre Dame with the kickout pass right here, probably end up closing this game out. But Tyler Ennis shows no emotion throughout the entire game. And I love the fact that after he makes that game winner, after the ball goes in, then you finally see emotion from your point guard. That's the kind of mentality you want out of your leader.
Hanlon cuts it to 8, timeout BC. A 28.8 left, and Notre Dame is closing in on its first road win of the year. Mike Bray, a lot of coaches shy away from that, saying, no, we're not going to talk about the fact we haven't won a road game this year. He says, absolutely, it was a challenge to my guys dealt with it directly, saying, all right, let's finally end this streak and win a road game tonight. And this will be the first of 3 for the Irish.
You know, the one thing I love about Mike Bray, he continues to motivate and inspire his players. He's a player's coach, no doubt about it. You can tell the way he talks to us, the way he talks to the players. He gets these players to buy in. And look, there's been some things that have happened this year. No Jerry and Grant. Okay, obviously, when he was on the court, it formed a dynamic duo between him and Eric Atkins. Demetrius Jackson has been going through his issues as well. But if this team was healthy, they would be in a lot better position. But still, they can go down, they can win at Miami. Then they have to play at Virginia. That'll be a tough game, but they have Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh at home. Still some games left to be played in the ACC.
Academically healthy has really been the issue for Notre Dame, because Jaron Grant forced to leave December 23rd because of what he called an academic manner he didn't handle properly. The phrase the university uses is academically separated from Notre Dame, expected to be back for summer school. Then Demetrius Jackson mentioned this in the first half. Mike Bray told us before the game he will be back with the team tomorrow. In fact, Coach Bray expects Demetrius Jackson to greet the team when they come back from BC tonight. They'll be coming back from their first road win, and then Jackson will be available for the Irish on Wednesday at Miami. So missed just a couple games. Mike Bray, who started his career at DeMatha High School, DeMatha Catholic in Maryland, says it's very much the same attitude of the high school coach. You have to make sure that your papers are in order, your grades are in order, and then you can focus on basketball again. And that was the situation with Demetrius Jackson. Well, so still a 5-point game, but here's the upcoming schedule for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and for Demetrius Jackson in particular, it shows where the priorities are for Mike Bray and for Notre Dame, which is the correct stance to have on the whole situation. The priority is academics. Academics come first, basketball is second. And if you don't take care of what you need to take care of in the classroom, then you will pay the consequences on the court. As you see their upcoming schedule for Notre Dame, 13-12 right now, 4-8 in the conference. After they're able to get this win, they will be 5-8 at Miami, at Virginia, Georgia Tech at home, Pittsburgh at home. Pittsburgh coming off those back-to-back losses. There's some gut checking for Jamie Dixon and his team as well. Then at North Carolina.
And then for Boston College at Syracuse on Wednesday night. That game's on ESPN2. Even though Boston College struggling, they're closing in on 2-10 in the ACC. Everybody, one way or another, seems to play Syracuse close. And it's at Miami, Pitt, at Wake for the BC Eagles.
Carl, let me ask you, you've seen Syracuse play a lot. I've seen them play a ton. Why do you think Syracuse at times plays down to the level of their competition?
Perhaps it's depth at this point, especially without Coleman, without Bai Museketa, but I think that's depth, and maybe the answer as to why they win those games is terrific team chemistry. We had that conversation with Jim Boeheim last week where he says, hey, in clutch situations, our guys know their roles and nobody's complaining that CJ Fair has the shot at the end of the game. Nobody's complaining that taking threes in transition, that's just part of who they are.
Think about how athletic their front line is with C.J. Fair and Jeremy Grant and Raheem Christmas. We got a chance to do that Clemson game. Raheem Christmas got in foul trouble, and then all of a sudden become a little bit thin up front. But Jeremy Grant moved over to the 5. C.J. Fair rotated over to the 4. You had guys like Mike Benajay come in, can give you length off the bench. They have the talent, no doubt about it, and the chemistry to win a title. And free throws are big right here. Misses both.
That's 3 straight missed free throws, so Boston College a chance, down by 5. It's Heckman. What a wild lay-in by Heckman. We have a 3-point game with 9 seconds to go. Sherman inbounds. They get the foul at 7.1. So 3 straight missed free throws by Notre Dame. A wild lay-in by Patrick Heckman. And what looked like a certain Notre Dame win, now with 7 seconds, is a 3-point game.
I mean, how about the length right there? How about the wingspan to reach to the other side of the basket? And the English on the ball to lay it in.
Notre
top
Dame
free throws.
was 11 for 12 from the line. Now they've missed their last 3. 2 here for Sherman. Double bonus situation for both teams now. So Sherman gets the first. It's a 2 possession. Both of these teams has played and lost. The answer is
go for a quick 3.
Hanlon. Left on the clock. Absolutely the worst play that Garrick Sherman could have made, fouling the 3-point shooter to stop the clock with 1.9.
And those are the plays that Mike Bray absolutely just shakes his head on. You're contesting a shot, but how about the gamesmanship right there of Heckman to kick that left leg out? He kicks that left leg out, creates contact, and finds a way to get to the free throw line. That's something that Reggie Miller used to do all the time. You can contest his shot, but if it's a blow-by contest and he kicks that leg out, you hit that leg, there's no doubt about it, that's a foul.
I think Sherman may have got him on the hand as well. But
we gotta see that replay again. I'm telling you right now, he kicks that left leg out, and as he kicks it out, you're gonna see right here, look at that left leg. He kicks out the left leg, and he brings his hand down. Well, we're watching the play of the ball, but I'm telling you, it's because if we show the other angle from the back, he kicks out that left leg. That's what brings him down to the ground.
Here you go.
You're gonna see this angle. Look at that left leg. It kicks out right here. Bam, foul. Gamesmanship. That's how you get a foul on Garrick Sherman.
But in that Notre Dame huddle, you know the emphasis. 0.9 seconds. Heckman has 3 free throws coming, and he is a solid free throw shooter. Until.
It's always the jinx, right?
Boy, an 86% free throw shooter. BC had made 7 straight free throws until the miss by Heckman. Gets the second of 3. Owens is going to check back in. Boston College has only 1 made 3 in the second half after going 6 for 9 in the first. Third of 3 for Patrick Heckman. Intentional miss. Tap out. Vistoria. Notre Dame wins.
I still don't understand why you would try to miss that intentionally. You make the free throw, you're only down 3, then you foul, get as quick as possible.
But bottom line, Notre Dame wins for the first time on the road this year, 73-69. Irish over Boston College, the first of 3 straight road games for Notre Dame. 51% shooting in the game for Notre Dame. Connaughton leads the way, 17 points in his homecoming game to Massachusetts. Notre Dame over BC 73-69. For Jay Williams, Allison Williams, I'm Carter Blackburn. Now back to Dari and Dino.